What's going on, Wolfpack Nation? Thank you all so much again for tuning in for this episode. We got a special episode today as we got Chris Salmon and Coach Healy here from the IcePack NC State Hockey. Chris, Coach, hope you all both doing well.
We're doing great.
Doing
Thanks
great.
thanks for having us.
Absolutely. You know, I will say I've been a guy that actually has played hockey since I was 7 years old, and I've always been a huge hockey fan. So to say I've been looking forward to this recording is an understatement for sure. So first wanted to kind of start off with, obviously one of the things that is just fascinating and I love is, just the name IcePack. Like, it just it's like, hearing on recordings or hearing on like ESPN when you guys played at Liberty and saying the NC State IcePack instead of the NC State Wolfpack. It's just so cool. And I love it. So wanted to kind of for those state fans who don't know, where did the name IcePack originally come from in terms of the idea and then the idea to really trademark that name?
Well, I don't know. In some ways, I don't know if it's exactly by choice.
Okay.
With a lot of the club guidelines that NC State has, being that we aren't part of the varsity athletic program, so frankly, NC State Trademarks office makes you really have a clear delineation. And you can have pack in it, and it just made a lot of sense, being that we are the NC State Wolfpack team that is on ice, so it came together with Ice Pack. As far as getting into the trademark, and that was that's really, we've tried to build that brand over the last 3-4 years. And again, that goes a lot to the NC State trademarks and what they were allowing us and not allowing us to do. NC State is really tight on their trademarks. So we, in the approval process, and you'd have to have like club ice hockey team at NC State circling around the logo, and it'd have to go through this whole approval process. And then you're paying the university some of the trademark fees if you're selling any of that gear. So we finally just decided, through our past president, Ian O'Rourke, myself, Mike Gazzillo, my predecessor, and Eric Todd, who's going in second year, that we really wanted to dive in and just create our own brand. And it's been a great avenue to go for us. It's enabled us to sell merchandise at the Red and White shop. Shameless plug, you can go pick it up off our website too. So it's been really great for us to help us build our brand. I'll be honest with you, I love Tuffy, right? We're on Tuffy Talk. I'd love to have Tuffy front and center on a sweater. I mean, how awesome would that be?
Yeah.
But it's not really in the cards with how trademarks works at the university right now. But I'm really proud of the brand that the boys have built.
Yeah, it's one that is known for sure, and I think is easily spreading like wildfire throughout Wolfpack Nation for sure. And so, Chris, want to kind of ask, so just a little bit more about this side. So, does the team get any funding from the university, or is it paid, internally through donations?
So we have our own dues for every player. It's anywhere from $1,000 to, I think, $1.5 grand per semester. So a lot of it will come from that. But correct me if I'm wrong, Tim, we might get a little bit from like the university, maybe just a little.
Very gracious 2.5%.
Yeah. So most of it comes from us, and the past couple of years we've had to get a lot of donations to go to nationals.
Yep.
And we had a locker room that got built at the new rink, so we got a lot of good donations from that.
Yep.
So
yeah, I mean that's definitely something which I actually haven't even been able to go check out yet as a new competition center. Obviously for those state fans who don't know, you guys are part of what's called the ACCHL, even though it's not just ACC teams, but it's a lot of ACC teams like UNC, Virginia Tech, Wake Forest, etc. But with other guys like University of Richmond, UNCW, Georgetown. But one of the things that's actually been really cool recently that has really, I think been hugely popular is the backyard brawl at PNC Arena between State and Carolina. And I know for me, when I went to go see those games, for me being a former hockey player, I was like, man, what I would give to go back and be able to play, play in something like that. I mean, just the crowd there is crazy. It's awesome environment. So, but I mean, I think that, seeing that many fans show up to a game like that just proves how much I think not only hockey, but club hockey, even for state in Carolina, is growing in the area. So I wanted to kind of ask, if you agree that, I mean, that, an event like that really has been able to help grow the market and publicity for club hockey in the area. And then, obviously, how much do you miss it, not being able to play last year in the backyard brawl?
Yeah, it definitely sucked not being able to do it.
Yeah.
Because I've been playing my whole life, and nothing really compares to being out there in front of that many people.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you step out, can't hear a thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like almost like you're in the NHL. So
Yep.
that's one of the biggest moments of the year usually. So
Yeah.
it definitely sucks not being able to do it, but
It is what it is, right?
yeah, can't really do anything about it.
No.
Yeah. And I am pleased to report, the schedule is going to be released tomorrow, actually probably released by the time this airs.
Mhm.
You won't see the UNC games at PNC on the schedule yet, but we have spoken to PNC. They will be back. They just can't set the schedule yet for us until the NHL schedule is set. But we are looking at doing both semesters. However, we do have UNC set on the schedule regularly at Wake Competition Center, September 17th, opening night. Hope we hear all the listeners there. So it won't be at PNC, but I think people that come up to Wake Competition Center it's a first class facility. Tribeca Breweries open up a restaurant in there. It's just going to be a great atmosphere, and shameless plug too, season tickets go on sale tomorrow for us. So, and you talk about funding, ticket sales are huge for us. It's a major revenue source for us.
Yeah, now I'm curious, how does recruiting work? Do you have tryouts? Do you actually go and you look up guys who may want to play for state? How does that work for y'all?
Well, I don't have the benefit of, say, Kevin Keats or to go in
Sure.
and say, hey, take these guys. Basically, the way we look at recruiting is, in my philosophy of it is, I want to draw, the old U where they drew, said, hey, all of South Florida, those players are coming to us to play for the U. Basically, what I want is every solid player in North Carolina, I want them coming to NC State unless they can go off and play and have a big time experience. We do have North Carolina players that are playing at Quinnipiac, Maine, St. Lawrence, high end Division I teams. Go and do that. But if you can't, play there, we are the much better option than an NCAA Division III level in most cases, other than, say, the NESCAC schools, Norwich, a few others.
Mhm.
Where, that's our recruiting pitch. You're going to play in front of more people than most of those D3 schools. You are NC State's college hockey team at a major Power 5 school. You look at our crowds, you look at our coverage. Most ACHA club teams, which is the conference we're in, you don't have that. So, for us, it's really making the case that the best to the best, unless you have that Hockey East offer, you're going to have a better experience here. We have great academics, especially we have a lot of engineering majors in the room. So that's our recruiting pitch. Now, as far as how do we find our players, one, really, I think raising the awareness of what we are, things like IcePack All Access, which I hope you had a chance to look at, which is the documentary crew that followed us this year. That's as good as anything you're going to see on HBO. So build that funnel, build that pipeline. When junior teams come through and play in the USPHL junior canes, showing them the locker room. And just, and again, I think being NC State's and really North Carolina's best college hockey option goes a long way. And we're attracting more and more guys that, if they were to play NCAA Division III, going after engineering, that's a tough time commitment. But here they can have the best of both worlds.
Sure.
Chris, why did you choose? I mean, I think Chris has a great story of choosing us.
So I lived away from home a few years in high school,
Mhm.
trying to pursue like one of those big hockey schools that Tim was talking about. And I ended up getting injured my senior year, and I was pretty much going to be out the entire season. So it got to the point where I had to decide if I wanted to just rest up and come back and keep trying, or if I wanted to pretty much just come here, get the hockey part of it still, and get the actual college experience that most people look for. And I think that part of it pretty much pushed me over the edge, being able to do both. Because if I would have stayed out there, kept trying, go D1 or whatever, probably wouldn't have been until I was 21 years old that I became a freshman.
Yeah.
And yeah, I wanted to get best of both worlds, I guess.
I want to take a quick second here and give a shout out to our sponsors, Flatlands Jessup Insurance Group, that has your whole world covered with agents in 5 offices throughout East North Carolina to help you decide how much coverage you need, offering policies for home and auto, recreational vehicles, commercial health, life, and employee benefits. They are able to combine options to help find a comprehensive solution that works for you. You can find them on Instagram and Facebook at Flatlands Jessup. You can also visit their webpage at www.flatlandsjessup.com. So please make sure to go and check them out.
So I want to kind of touch on this. You brought up having the all access for last season. Can you Chris, what was that like having a guys recording y'all every chance y'all had an open moment?
It was different.
Yeah. You had no personal space.
I mean, it was cool. It was really professional. Like, felt like we were a lot more than a club hockey team. You got a lot of the funny stuff on video too. You had to watch yourself sometimes.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It was awesome. Just knowing everything you were doing was pretty much being recorded for everyone else to see.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm curious, kind of going, I think it'd be kind of pretty neat, but have you heard like good feedback on those kind of things? Obviously this is kind of a shameless plug, like you mentioned for y'all, but like, have you heard good feedback? That sounds like something that I honestly didn't even know that existed. I would like to go watch it myself.
Yeah, just I mean, I had mixed feelings about this. A week ago, I heard from the UMary coach, University of Mary coach, and they were the team that knocked us out in the Elite Eight in their home barn. He's like, "Hey, I just watched All Access. It was incredible." I'm like, "Yeah, really? Most of the one episode was your guys knocking our guys out of the game. No wonder why you loved it." But no, in all seriousness, he's like, that's the highest quality thing I've ever seen. And I heard actually from the Liberty coach this week, he's like, I started watching it this summer. It's just, and he was, Liberty has, by the way, an amazing rink and a facility, and it's something they don't have, right? This all access. So it's a recruiting tool and awareness tool that a lot of other ACHA programs don't have. Yeah. Frankly, a lot of NCAA programs don't have them. So it's been a real game changer in awareness for us. To Chris's point, my day job is as an administrator at an all-girls school in St. Mary School, which, so it's like, all right, well, they're going inside the locker room with what I'm saying now. So I need to be really, you do have to be a bit more cleaned up. But I think it was authentic. Chris, I think we were all pretty much our authentic selves. Rosetto, our goalie coach, had to probably clean up his language more than anybody else between periods. What do you think?
Yeah, I had to bleep out a lot of stuff sometimes.
Yeah, no, I will say, but over the last couple of days, I've pretty much watched all the episodes straight through, and I loved it. I mean, again, especially because with me, because I mean, to be honest, I was doing research and I saw y'all pop up, and it was something I didn't even know about until I just saw it on YouTube, and I mean, again, I don't know where you found those guys to record that, but I mean, it was so cool. And again, it was cool to see like the inside stuff that, that a normal state fan doesn't see, like you guys, being on the bus, it's like your bus breaking down. It seems like every single time you took a road trip and, I mean, it was great. I mean, feedback from me, 5 stars for sure. It was awesome. One of the things that actually stood out to me was actually how the bus that you guys rode on, it looked like it was a Junior Hurricanes bus, which, I mean, for those who are listening and don't know, so Junior Hurricanes basically like the youth organization that was run by the Carolina Hurricanes. And so do you guys have a great relationship with the Hurricanes? Or I mean, like, what is y'all's relationship with the Carolina Hurricanes program?
Well, and as far as the junior program, all three of our coaches, myself, Alex Rosetto, and Eric Mura, all coach in the Junior Hurricanes organization. I have two daughters, so I'm on the girls' side, and one of the directors on the girls' side, which is how we end up getting access to that bus. Fully repaired and retooled for this year, and he's even going to have some IcePack branding on it, so we're pumped about that.
Nice.
And awesome. Then, and I'm pretty sure, Chris, you did too. Almost all of our players at some point played for the Junior Canes growing up.
One of the big things that stood out to me is how many road trips that y'all would take, and not only just road trips, but long road trips. Because I know one of the guys that was on your schedule was Florida Gulf Coast, and you guys had to drive down for that. And so one of the questions I was kind of thinking is, I'm sure you guys had to leave a whole day or so ahead of time because you guys played a 3-game series in a weekend. So how do you balance that? Is it like a lot of are there requirements such as taking classes online in order to be able to do it, or like how does that work necessarily?
No, it's pretty much just figure it out on your own. It was a little easier last season compared to the year before, where everything was in person and you had to get your notes or whatever to miss class.
Mm-hmm.
But no, it's pretty much just you figured out yourself. We have like hotspots and stuff on the bus that we can use to do homework on the way, and guys will have to do some at the hotel when we're not playing. But yeah, you pretty much just got to do it.
Let me ask you this question, just kind of general question. You mentioned traveling like that with the guys, and obviously you had the all access, and you're a team. What's the culture like? How does NC State's culture on the hockey team different than how you may have seen you see other cultures for other club teams that you compete against? What makes NC State special in your opinion?
It's a good question. Tim, what do you think?
I don't know. I want to hear one of the captains answer that question. I think what I will say, I think the culture is really healthy. And I think actually, if you even go back to the very first IcePack episode this past year, you see the guys setting what their goals are for the year, and that's to win a national championship, which is a pretty audacious goal. And it's one thing to say it. It's another thing, in a lot of ways, we're 4 goals from that this year, right? Yes, we lost in the Elite 8, but we lost to the team that ended up winning it. So in theory, you take them out, and there you are. But the guys, they believe it, they work for it, and I think Chris is being a little bit humble over there. The leaders set the culture. Chris is actually, he was an All-American this year, but you haven't heard him mention that yet, right? Our leading scorer, you haven't heard him mention that, right? He'll say his first thing is winning that national title. And so that sets the cultures. When you have those leaders at the top, John Cooper, who was on Spit and Chicklets last week, said, bad teams have bad leadership on the players in the locker room. Good teams have good leadership out of the coaches in the locker room. Great coaches have great leadership out of the players in the locker room. And we're really lucky. We have great leadership in that locker room, and guys that are committed to a goal and set the tone.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely evident when you watch like the all access, the push of leadership, and that's one thing I do, definitely give you hats off too on coaches. It's definitely evident that you basically put it in the players' hands. Like I love the statement that you made about okay, now you said what you want to do, so now it's up to you to go get it done. All that we're here to do is basically to keep you accountable and to remind you of what we're here to do. But at the end of the day, it's you guys have to go get it done, which is I thought was a perfect way to say it. But I do have to ask though. So can we expect an all access season 2 for this upcoming season?
That is 100% going to happen. They're actually doing interviews for the team right now. Nice. We did lose. We lost 2/3 of the team. Chris's suite mate there, Harrison Green, actually got picked up by the UFC. So he's out with the UFC right now. And Harrison Eaton, who was the high school intern, he's actually out at App State. Chose App State over NC State, which was a little bit soul crushing. But basically, what they offered him and working with the football program through the body of work that they did with us was too good to turn down for him. Chris, any new suite mates that can help us with this?
I'm all out.
Tapped out, coach. Get it? Tapped out. Yeah. No. And one question to kind of finish up and I guess summarize it. So I did see on your Twitter page that you guys are actually hiring right now for things like for multiple student positions such as creative design director, social media coordinator, things like that. So I think that seeing that combined with what you guys are obviously doing on the ice with having now 3 straight ACCHL tournament titles, making it 2 out of the last 3 years to nationals. It's obvious where the direction that this program is going. So I did want to kind of ask. So besides the obvious answers of basically winning the hardware, the national titles and AC titles, what kind of goals do you each have? And maybe I'll get each of you guys to answer it for the program besides just the easy questions of winning the hardware.
I think probably the biggest one outside of winning is, like you said, just growing it. This area, there's, I guess, ever since 2006 when the Canes won the cup, it's kind of started there. Everybody actually started paying attention to hockey, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of the biggest goals we have is, as like I'm getting older and most of our core group is kind of getting older too. So we want to not just leave it in good hands to the guys that are already on the team that are younger, but with all access and everything, we want to kind of put I don't know what the word is, leave a good impression on the younger kids in the area.
Mm-hmm.
That this is, everybody wants to go and play D1, go to the NHL, but we want them to know that this is a serious program too, and it's a good way to go.
Yep. And you, Coach, do you have anything to build off of that?
Yeah, I mean, I think Chris, said it well in that as youth hockey explodes across North Carolina, and we're over 80% North Carolinian players, that, hey, this is a serious option as we grow and continue to build the fan base. And I'll be honest, from a business standpoint, as we grow and chase these goals of national titles, like the program is more expensive to run too. So, and we don't want to be in the position of having to do fundraisers every time right before we go to nationals. So, growing that fan base, growing, getting a more firm. We have a great alumni base, but getting them more organized, more professionalized in their approach, because they do want to support us. I mean, that's who funded the locker room, an alum from the class of 03. So I think I think the on ice side is in great shape, but just really getting the back of the house fix. 2 years ago we had I'll give you an example. One of the local news agencies reached out like, hey, can we talk to your sports information person? This is before the Governor's Cup. And I'm like, yeah, I am the sports information person.
That's me. Yeah.
Just having that, where it's the coaches and the captains doing everything, and we've loved to do it, but getting more people involved. So, guys like Chris as one of the leaders, they can just concentrate on going out and chasing that natty.
Yep, that's right. Well, thank you all so much again for tuning in again for this episode. Make sure to tune in on Thursday as we continue our conversation with icePack, where we talk about reviewing this previous season and talking about goals for next season. So please make sure, again, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. Help support the channel and support us. Follow us at Tuffy Talk Now on Twitter or Instagram. Please like this video if you enjoyed it, and check out all of our great content. And also, too, make sure to give icePack Hockey at NC State Hockey a follow on Twitter, Instagram as well while you're at it.
Thanks for having us on. Go Pack.
Yeah, go Pack.
Yes, sir. Go Pack.